Hey warriors, most people think Stoicism is about suppressing emotions. They're wrong. Stoicism was never meant to turn you into stone. It was designed to turn you into someone unbreakable. Imagine this for a moment. A man loses everything in a shipwreck and creates a philosophy that outlives empires. A former slave teaches emperors how to be free. A woman watches her world collapse and chooses dignity over despair. An emperor rules the most powerful empire on earth and still struggles with anxiety, self-doubt, and the fear of failing his duty. These were not abstract thinkers hiding in libraries. They were builders, rebels, advisors, martyrs, teachers, and rulers, each facing pressure that would crush most people today. Stoicism didn't survive for over 2,000 years because it sounded good. It survived because it worked in real life. This video is not a history lesson. It's a system forged through chaos, exile, tyranny, poverty, power, and death. A system built by 19 very different people who all asked the same question: how should I live when life is hard? At the beginning stands Zeno the prophet, a man whose greatest wisdom was born from disaster. He didn't seek philosophy. Philosophy found him when his life fell apart. Then came Cleanthes the apostle, who carried water by night and truth by day, proving that discipline matters more than brilliance. Chrysippus the systematizer turned scattered ideas into a weapon of reason so precise it could withstand centuries of attack. But not everyone agreed. Aristo the challenger questioned everything, reminding us that even wisdom must be tested. As Stoicism spread, it learned to move through cultures and power structures. Diogenes of Babylon, the diplomat Antipater, the ethicist Panayetius, the connector Posidonius, the genius Cicero, the fellow traveler. Then came the age of courage, Cato the younger, the martyr, who refused to kneel. Portia Cato the iron woman, who showed that strength has no gender. Agrippinus the nonconformist, who would not play along. Musonius Rufus the Unbreakable, who taught virtue through suffering. And finally, Stoicism entered the halls of power. Athenodorus, the kingmaker, Arrius Didymus, the court philosopher, Seneca, the advisor, Epictetus, the teacher, Junius Rusticus, the dutiful Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king. 19 archetypes, one unified system. This is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming steady. Because when chaos comes, and it always does, you won't rise to your hopes. You will fall to your philosophy. Next, we will begin part 1 of our video series on the 19 Stoic Archetypes, one unified system. Episode 1, Zeno. The shipwreck that created Stoicism. How crisis becomes destiny. There are moments in life when everything collapses at once. Not slowly, not politely, but suddenly without warning. One phone call, one financial loss, one betrayal, one mistake, one storm you didn't see coming. In those moments, the question is never, why did this happen? The question is always, what now? Most people never recover from their first real shipwreck. They rebuild on the surface, but something inside them stays broken, cautious, bitter, afraid. But once, more than 2,000 years ago, a man lost everything in a shipwreck: his wealth, his security, his future, and instead of rebuilding his old life, he built something entirely new, a philosophy that would outlast empires, a way of living that would train kings, slaves, soldiers, and thinkers, a discipline designed not for comfort, but for chaos. That man was Zeno of Citium, and his philosophy would be called Stoicism. Here's the part most people don't understand. Stoicism was not born in a classroom. It was not invented by scholars debating ideas. It was forged in loss, exile, ridicule, and discipline. Stoicism begins where comfort ends. And if you've ever felt like life knocked you off course, if you've ever felt like the life you planned is gone, then Zeno's story is not ancient history. It's a map, the shipwreck. Zeno was not born a philosopher. He was a merchant, a trader, a man of business. He lived in Citium, a prosperous city, and made his living moving valuable goods across dangerous seas. His future was clear, predictable, secure, until it wasn't. On one voyage, Zeno's ship was caught in a storm. The cargo, his entire fortune, was lost to the sea. No insurance, no safety net, no backup plan, just wreckage. Later, Zeno would describe this moment with a sentence that sounds almost impossible in its calm. I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck. Think about that. Who talks like that after losing everything? Only someone who has learned to see loss differently, with nowhere to go and nothing left to protect. Zeno wandered into a bookstore in Athens. Not a palace, not a temple, a bookstore. There, he read about Socrates, a man who owned almost nothing, yet feared nothing. A man who challenged powerful people and faced death without panic. Zeno asked the bookseller a simple question: "Where can I find a man like this?" The bookseller pointed to a philosopher nearby, Crates the cynic, a man known for his brutal simplicity and public humility. And just like that, Zeno's life changed direction. Not upward, inward. Training begins. Humiliation and discipline. Crates did not offer Zeno comfort. He offered him training. At one point, Crates ordered Zeno to carry a pot of lentil soup through the city, a deliberate attempt to shatter his pride. When Zeno tried to hide the pot under his cloak, Crates smashed it, spilling soup everywhere. The message was clear. If you cannot endure embarrassment, you cannot endure life. Stoicism was never about appearing calm. It was about becoming unbreakable. Zeno trained himself to want less, need less, fear less. He studied under multiple teachers, not because he was unsure, but because he refused dogma. Eventually, he began teaching on his own, not in a private academy, but in a public place, the Stoa Poikile, the painted porch. That's where Stoicism gets its name. A philosophy meant to be practiced in public life, not hidden from it. Zeno taught that the good life is one that flows smoothly, not because life is easy, but because the mind stops fighting reality. This is where Stoicism begins, not with control of the world, but with control of judgment. Zeno believed that suffering comes not from events, but from resistance to events, from arguing with reality instead of adapting to it. The Stoic does not say, "This should not have happened." The Stoic asks, "How should I respond?" This is the seed of amor fati, loving fate, not because it's pleasant, but because it's unavoidable. You cannot change the storm, but you can learn how to sail. Now pause. Because Zeno's shipwreck is not about ancient boats. It's about your job loss, your divorce, your failure, your illness, your reputation collapsing overnight. Modern life gives us the illusion of control until it takes it away. And when that happens, most people ask the wrong question. How do I get back what I lost? Zeno asked a better one. Who do I become now that it's gone? Stoicism does not promise that life will be fair. It promises that you can be ready. So here's the question I want you to sit with. Honestly, what did life take from you that might be clearing the path for something stronger, not something easier, something truer? Zeno did not become wise before he lost everything. He became wise because he did not waste the loss. Tonight, don't rush to fix your life. Don't scramble for control. Don't panic. Instead, ask yourself, what is this moment training me for? That question alone can change the direction of your life. If this episode helped you see your struggles differently, take a moment to reflect, and if you want to continue this journey through the lives of the Stoics, you're welcome to stay with us. No pressure, no hype. Just philosophy for real life. 2. Zeno, training the mind that will not break. Zeno understood something most people never learn. You don't prepare for hardship after it arrives. You prepare long before. Once he began teaching under the Stoa, Zeno didn't offer comfort or reassurance. He offered training mental, moral, and behavioral. Because to the Stoics, philosophy was not therapy. It was conditioning. Stoic principle, control, begins with judgment. One of Zeno's most important contributions was not a quote, but a gesture. Later Stoics would describe it like this. Zeno would hold out his open hand and say, "This is perception." Then he would slightly curl his fingers and say, "This is assent." Then he would close his fist and say, "This is comprehension." Finally, he would place his other hand over the fist and say, "This is knowledge." The lesson: not everything you perceive deserves belief. Not every thought deserves agreement. Between what happens and how you feel, there is a moment of choice. That moment is everything. Most people collapse that gap. They feel and assume the feeling is truth. The Stoic trains to pause. Why most people stay trapped? Here's why this matters so much today. Modern life constantly attacks your perceptions. News headlines designed to provoke fear. Social media engineered to trigger comparison. Workplaces that reward urgency over clarity. If you accept every perception as truth, you become reactive. If you react constantly, you lose your agency. Zeno's Stoicism teaches something radical. Your mind is the last territory that cannot be conquered without your consent, but only if you defend it. Zeno believed in training through voluntary hardship, not because pain is noble, but because comfort makes us fragile. Early Stoics practiced simple food, plain clothing, exposure to heat, cold, hunger, and inconvenience. Not to punish themselves, to remove fear. If you've already practiced being uncomfortable, life has less leverage over you. This is why Stoicism is misunderstood as harsh, but in reality, it's compassionate. It teaches you to become resilient before life tests you. Modern scenario: emotional overreaction. Think about the last time something small ruined your entire day. A rude email, a delayed response, a minor criticism. Now imagine if you had trained your mind not to immediately assent, not to immediately declare, "This is terrible, this is personal, this means something is wrong with me." Zeno's Stoicism gives you that power, not to suppress emotion, but to interrogate it. Zeno defined happiness not as pleasure, success, or approval, but as living in agreement with nature. This doesn't mean living in the woods. It means accepting reality as it is, acting according to reason, aligning desire with what is possible. When your desires exceed reality, suffering follows. Most people don't suffer because life is cruel. They suffer because they demand life be different. Carpe diem, action without anxiety. Zeno's Stoicism was not passive. Once you accept reality, action becomes clearer, calmer. You stop wasting energy on resentment and start directing it toward effort. This is carpe diem, Stoic style, not frantic productivity, not chasing validation, but disciplined, purposeful action today. Do what is yours to do. Leave the rest. Ask yourself this: where in your life are you reacting instead of choosing? And what would change if you paused just long enough to decide? Zeno never wrote books that survived. His philosophy lived on because it worked. Not because it promised happiness, but because it promised dignity. And dignity survives storms. 3. Zeno. Why character matters more than outcomes. Zeno's Stoicism becomes truly radical when it reaches ethics. Up to this point, many philosophies promised happiness through pleasure, success, or social harmony. Zeno rejected all of it, not because pleasure is evil, not because success is shameful, but because none of them are stable. Stoic principle. Virtue is the only good. Zeno taught something so uncompromising that it still unsettles people today. Virtue is the only true good. Everything else is secondary. Health, wealth, reputation, power, even life itself. None of these guarantee goodness. None of these protect your character. They can be used well or badly, and therefore, they cannot define a good life. This is why Stoicism is demanding. It refuses to let you outsource your happiness to circumstances. Preferred indifference, clearing a common confusion. Now pause, because this is where many people misunderstand Stoicism. Zeno did not say health and wealth don't matter. He said they don't determine whether you are good. Stoics called these things preferred indifference. You can prefer health to illness. You can prefer wealth to poverty. You can prefer success to failure, but you do not base your worth on them. Why? Because anything that can be taken away is a terrible foundation for peace. Why outcomes are a trap. Modern life trains us to worship outcomes. Salary, views, likes, titles, status. But outcomes depend on other people's decisions, random events, timing, luck. If you judge yourself by outcomes, you live on unstable ground. Zeno's Stoicism flips the equation: judge yourself by effort, intention, and integrity, not results. This is how you reclaim inner stability. Imagine two people fail at the same thing. One collapses emotionally. The other reflects and adjusts. The difference is not talent, it's philosophy. One believes my worth is tied to success. The other believes my worth is tied to how I act. Zeno's Stoicism gives you the second belief. Justice, courage, temperance, wisdom. From Zeno comes the foundation of the 4 Stoic virtues. Wisdom, seeing clearly. Justice, acting fairly and for the common good. Courage, doing what is right despite fear. Temperance, self-control. Moderation. These are not abstract ideals. They are daily tests. Every difficult conversation, every temptation, every compromise offered. Why Stoicism is not cold. Critics accuse Stoicism of being heartless. Zeno would disagree. Stoicism does not remove emotion. It removes enslavement to emotion. You still feel grief. You still love deeply. You still care. But you do not let emotion drive the wheel. Amor fati, loving what happens. This is where amor fati begins its quiet work. If virtue is your goal, then fate becomes less frightening. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "How do I respond well to this?" Nothing becomes meaningless. Even suffering becomes raw material. Ask yourself tonight, if everything external were stripped away, what would still make you proud of how you lived? That answer is closer to virtue than you think. Zeno didn't promise happiness. He promised freedom from dependence. And that is a deeper kind of peace. 4. Zeno's legacy: how to live when life falls apart. Zeno did not live to see Stoicism become famous. He never built an empire, never ruled a country, never wrote a best-selling book. And yet 2,000 years later, soldiers, leaders, prisoners, athletes, and ordinary people still turn to the philosophy he began after losing everything. That alone should tell you something. Zeno's death. The final lesson. Zeno lived into old age, respected but never obsessed with recognition. And his death, like his life, reflected his philosophy. One day, after leaving the Stoa, Zeno stumbled and broke a toe. For most people, this would be a minor inconvenience. For Zeno, it was a signal. According to tradition, he struck the ground and quoted a line from Greek tragedy. "I come, why do you call me?" And then, calmly, he chose to end his life. This story is often misunderstood. Zeno was not depressed. He was not fleeing pain. To the Stoics, life was not something to cling to at all costs. It was something to live honorably for as long as nature allowed. When nature clearly withdrew permission, the Stoic withdrew with dignity. This was not despair. It was acceptance. Memento mori, death as a teacher. Zeno understood something modern culture avoids. Death clarifies life. When you remember that your time is finite, petty anxieties lose their power. Ego softens. Priorities sharpen. Stoicism is not obsessed with death. It uses death to teach focus. Zeno lived knowing that any day could be the last, and so he trained himself to be ready. Not fearful. Prepared. Modern life. Ancient wisdom. Today, we live surrounded by convenience but plagued by anxiety. We have more comfort than any generation before us. More distraction, more comparison, less inner stability. Zeno's world was violent, uncertain, and brutal, and yet his philosophy produced calm. What does that tell us? That peace is not found in conditions. It is found in orientation. If we reduce Zeno's Stoicism to a simple system, it looks like this. 1. Accept reality as it is, memento mori. 2. Act with purpose today, carpe diem. 3. Embrace what happens as training, amor fati. This is not passive acceptance. This is disciplined alignment. You stop wasting energy fighting what you cannot change and redirect it toward what you can. Your choices, your effort, your character. Modern scenario. When life collapses again, because it will, another loss will come, another storm, another moment where the plan dissolves. Stoicism does not prevent collapse. It prevents collapse from destroying you. When you live like Zeno, you expect difficulty. You train for adversity. You stop being shocked by reality, and because of that you suffer less. Not because life is gentler, but because you are stronger. So here is the final question for this episode. If your life shipwrecked tomorrow, what part of you would still stand? Your title, your income, your reputation, or your discipline, your values, your integrity. Zeno lost everything and discovered what could not be taken. Tonight, don't rush to feel better. Don't numb yourself. Don't distract yourself. Instead, sit quietly and ask, what is life training me for right now? Zeno teaches us that even loss can be a teacher if we listen, and that wisdom does not come from avoiding storms, but from learning how to sail through them. If this story helped you see hardship differently, you're welcome to continue this journey with us. In the next episode, we'll meet Cleanthes, a man who worked all night carrying water just to study philosophy by day and discover why Stoicism must be earned, not admired. No pressure, no hype, just timeless wisdom, practiced slowly. Thank you for spending this time reflecting. Until next time, remember, you don't control the storm, but you do control how you live within it. Episode 2. 1. Cleanthes. Stoicism is earned, not inherited. Why discipline matters more than talent. Most people want wisdom. Very few want the life that produces it. They want clarity without discipline, calm without discomfort, strength without struggle. They want Stoicism as an aesthetic, not a practice. But the Stoics never believed philosophy was something you liked. They believed it was something you proved. And no one proved it more brutally than a man named Cleanthes. Cleanthes was not gifted, not wealthy, not admired. He was poor, ridiculed, slow to learn. By day, he studied philosophy. By night, he carried water for wages, hauling heavy jars through the dark just to survive. Other students laughed at him, but Zeno didn't. Zeno chose Cleanthes as his successor. Why? Because Stoicism is not inherited by intelligence. It is earned by endurance. And if you've ever felt behind, if you've ever felt underestimated, if you've ever wondered whether discipline can beat talent, Cleanthes' life. The man. Everyone underestimated answers that question. Cleanthes was born in Assos, a small city far from power or prestige. Unlike Zeno, he arrived in Athens with almost nothing. No fortune, no education to lean on, no safety net. He wanted to study philosophy, but philosophy did not pay. So Cleanthes worked. At night, while others slept, he carried water, dug soil, and performed manual labor. His hands hardened. His body aged early. By day, he sat quietly under the stoa, listening, slowly, painfully. Cleanthes was not quick-witted. He struggled to grasp ideas that others understood instantly. Some mocked him, others dismissed him. But Cleanthes returned every day, not because it felt good, because it mattered. At one point, the authorities questioned how Cleanthes survived. They suspected he was stealing. Cleanthes didn't argue. He brought his employers, the people who paid him for manual labor, to testify. The accusation collapsed, and the city, embarrassed, offered him money. Cleanthes refused. He didn't want charity. He wanted earned independence. This moment defines him. Stoicism is not about appearances. It is about self-respect. Cleanthes embodied a concept the Stoics admired deeply: Philoponia, love of labor. Not because work is glamorous, but because effort shapes character. Cleanthes believed that wisdom gained without effort is fragile. Only what costs you something stays with you. This is the opposite of modern culture, which promises shortcuts, hacks, and overnight transformation. Stoicism says, what is not trained will fail under pressure. Why Zeno chose Clynthes. When Zeno died, many expected a sharper student to lead the school. Instead, Zeno chose Clynthes. Why? Because Clynthes had proven something more important than brilliance: patience, discipline, humility, endurance. Anyone can sound wise. Not everyone can live it consistently. Clynthes could. Clynthes is remembered for one of the most famous Stoic lines ever written. Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling. This is not poetry. It's instruction. You can cooperate with reality or resist it and suffer more than necessary. Life will move you either way. The question is how much pain you add through resistance. Today, many people quit not because they lack ability, but because progress feels slow. They compare themselves to others. They feel late. They feel embarrassed. Clynthes shows us a different path. Stay, train, endure. Wisdom does not arrive on schedule. It arrives when character is ready. Ask yourself honestly, where are you quitting early because growth feels uncomfortable or slow? And what would happen if you stayed longer than your pride wants to? Clynthes didn't rush wisdom. He carried it one heavy step at a time. And because of that, it carried him for life. 2. Clynthes, why discipline outlasts motivation. Clynthes did not believe in motivation, at least, not the way we talk about it today. He did not wait to feel ready. He did not wait to feel inspired. He did not wait to feel confident. He worked. And this is one of the most uncomfortable lessons Stoicism teaches. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is not. Stoic principle: discipline over desire. Clynthes understood something modern culture avoids admitting: feelings come and go. Circumstances change. Energy fluctuates. But virtue requires consistency. That is why Stoicism emphasizes habits, not moods. Clynthes showed up when he was tired, he was hungry, he was ignored, he was mocked. This is why he became strong, not because life was kind, but because he refused to make excuses. The theology of fate. Clynthes did more than endure hardship. He interpreted it. In his famous hymn to Zeus, Clynthes describes the universe as ordered, rational, and governed by divine reason, what Stoics called logos. This didn't mean blind optimism. It meant something harder. Reality has structure, even when it hurts. Clynthes believed that resisting fate does not make you free, it makes you exhausted. Acceptance, on the other hand, restores energy. This is where his famous line gains its full weight. Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling. You don't escape fate by fighting it. You only decide how painful the journey will be. Why acceptance is not weakness. Many people hear this and panic. Does this mean I shouldn't try to change my life? Does this mean injustice is acceptable? Does this mean I should just endure everything? No. Clynthes distinguished between what must be accepted, what must be acted upon. You accept what you cannot control so that you have strength left to act where you can. This is strategic acceptance, not resignation. Modern scenario. Burnout culture. Look at modern burnout. People are overwhelmed not because they work, but because they fight reality while working. They demand constant enthusiasm, immediate results, recognition without patience. When reality doesn't cooperate, resentment builds. Cleanthes offers a different approach. Work quietly. Detach from applause. Let effort be enough. This doesn't make you weaker. It makes you unstoppable. Why Cleanthes was hard to break. Cleanthes was poor but not anxious, ignored but not bitter, slow but not discouraged. Why? Because he did not base his worth on outcomes. He based it on alignment. With effort, with reason, with nature. Nothing external had leverage over him. This is Stoic freedom. Carpe diem, the daily burden. Cleanthes lived carpe diem quietly, not with urgency, not with ambition, with consistency. He did what was required today and trusted tomorrow to handle itself. This is a kind of peace modern people rarely experience. Ask yourself, where are you waiting to feel motivated instead of committing to discipline? And what would change if you treated effort as non-negotiable? Cleanthes didn't chase greatness. He carried responsibility, and greatness followed quietly. 3. Cleanthes leadership without ego. When Zeno died, the Stoic school faced a quiet test. This was no small thing. Stoicism was still young, still fragile, still surrounded by rival philosophies that promised easier answers. Whoever led next would shape not just a school, but a tradition. Many expected a sharper mind, a faster speaker, a more impressive presence. Instead, Zeno chose Cleanthes, a man mocked for slowness, a laborer, a student who had struggled. And in that decision, Zeno revealed one of Stoicism's deepest values: character outranks brilliance. Stoic principle: authority comes from example. Cleanthes did not rule through charisma. He ruled through example. He lived simply even when he no longer had to. He continued to work, to train, to endure, not because he lacked status, but because he refused to let status corrupt him. Stoicism teaches that leadership is not about being above others. It is about being reliable under pressure. Cleanthes was that. Why humility is a competitive advantage. Modern culture treats humility as weakness. Stoicism treats it as armor. Cleanthes never rushed to speak, never fought for attention, never defended his ego. And because of that, he learned deeply. While others wasted energy protecting their image, Cleanthes invested his energy in practice. This is why humility scales. It frees attention. It preserves energy. It accelerates learning. The strength of slow growth. Cleanthes' slow mind became a strength. Because he struggled, he remembered. Because he labored, he understood. What came easily to others faded quickly. What cost Cleanthes' effort stayed. This is one of the most painful truths in life. Ease is forgettable. Effort is unforgettable. Modern scenario. Quiet leaders. Think of the people you trust most. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, not the most confident, but the ones who show up consistently, don't panic under pressure, do what they say. That is Cleanthes' leadership. Stoicism was never meant to dominate conversations. It was meant to steady lives. Cleanthes believed philosophy was not for isolation. He believed virtue must serve the whole. Even as a private citizen, he acted with a sense of responsibility not just to himself, but to society. This is where Stoicism breaks from selfish self-help. You improve yourself so that you become dependable. You reduce harm. You contribute stability. Character is public service. Cleanthes did not envy faster minds. He accepted his nature. This is amor fati at its quietest. Loving fate does not mean loving pleasure. It means working with what you have, without resentment. Cleanthes didn't wish to be someone else. He became fully himself. Ask yourself, where are you resisting your nature instead of training it? And how much energy are you wasting wishing to be different? Cleanthes teaches us something subtle. You don't need to be exceptional to be excellent. You need endurance. You need humility. You need patience. 4. Cleanthes' legacy, the quiet strength that outlasts chaos. Cleanthes never tried to be unforgettable. He became unforgettable by refusing to quit. In a world that celebrates brilliance, speed, and spectacle, Cleanthes stands as a different kind of model, one that grows stronger with time. And that may be his greatest gift to us. Cleanthes' death, the final act of discipline. Cleanthes lived into old age, his body worn from decades of labor and restraint. When his strength finally began to fail, doctors advised him to eat less. He obeyed calmly, without complaint. Then, sensing that his time had come, Cleanthes did something that shocks modern readers. He chose to stop eating entirely, not out of despair, not out of fear, but out of clarity. To the Stoics, death was not the enemy. Clinging was. Cleanthes believed life should be lived fully and left gracefully. When nature withdrew strength, he withdrew with it. This was not drama. It was alignment. Memento mori, death as confirmation, not threat. Cleanthes did not rush death. He prepared for it every day. Every night he worked when tired. Every day he studied when slow. Every moment he practiced patience instead of pride. So when death came, it did not interrupt his philosophy. It confirmed it. This is what memento mori looks like in practice. Not obsession with dying, but living so cleanly that death has nothing to take from you but breath. Modern life has created a dangerous illusion that talent is enough, that intelligence guarantees success, that motivation should always be present. And when reality contradicts that illusion, people collapse. They burn out. They quit. They drift. Cleanthes stands as proof of a different law. Consistency beats intensity. Discipline beats motivation. Endurance beats brilliance, not once, every day. Modern scenario: burnout, comparison, and quiet failure. Look around. People are exhausted not because they work too hard, but because they expect too much from themselves too quickly. They compare their beginning to someone else's middle, their effort to someone else's highlight reel, their pace to an artificial standard. Cleanthes gives permission to move slowly, to struggle, to be unseen, and to keep going anyway. That is rare wisdom. The Stoic operating system, Cleanthes' version. If Zeno gave us Stoicism's beginning, Cleanthes gave us its durability. His operating system is simple. 1. Accept your limits, memento mori. 2. Show up anyway, carpe diem. 3. Carry what fate assigns without resentment, amor fati. This does not make life easy. It makes life stable. And stability is power. What Cleanthes teaches about self-respect. Cleanthes refused charity not because help is wrong, but because dependency weakens dignity. He worked so that his philosophy remained free. His mind stayed independent. his self-respect stayed intact. This matters today. Self-respect grows when effort is honest. Not perfect. Honest. Sit with this question quietly. If no one noticed your effort, would you still show up? If the answer is yes, you are closer to Stoicism than you think. If the answer is no, Clean These is inviting you to train. Tonight, don't pressure yourself to be impressive. Be consistent. Be patient. Be willing to carry the quiet weight of improvement. Cleanthes teaches us that wisdom does not rush. It arrives slowly in calloused hands, in tired evenings, in decisions made without applause. And one day, you look back and realize strength has grown where you thought nothing was happening. If this episode resonated with you, you're welcome to continue this journey through the lives of the Stoics. In the next episode, we'll meet Chrysippus, the mind that built Stoicism's logic, and explore how mastering your thoughts can reshape your emotions and your life. No urgency, no pressure, just steady progress. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your willingness to reflect. Until next time, remember, wisdom is not given. It is earned. Episode 3. 1. Chrysippus, master your mind, master your life. Why your thoughts decide your fate. You don't lose control because life is hard. You lose control because your mind runs unchecked. Most people believe their emotions are automatic, that anger, anxiety, fear, and despair just happen to them. The Stoics disagreed. They believed something far more unsettling. Your emotions are not events. They are judgments. And if that's true, then emotional chaos is not fate. It's untrained thinking. There was one Stoic who understood this better than anyone else. Not a king, not a slave, not a martyr, but a man whose mind was so sharp that later Stoics said, if Chrysippus had not existed, Stoicism would not exist. His name was Chrysippus of Soli. And while Zeno founded Stoicism, and Cleanthes embodied it, Chrysippus built the mental architecture that allows Stoicism to work under pressure. If you've ever felt trapped inside your own thoughts, if your emotions feel stronger than your will, then Chrysippus is the Stoic you need most. Biographical story: the man who saved Stoicism. Chrysippus did not inherit a stable school. When Cleanthes died, Stoicism was vulnerable. Critics attacked it relentlessly. Rival philosophies mocked its logic. Some claimed it was incoherent, impractical, or self-contradictory. Stoicism was in danger of collapsing under intellectual pressure. Enter Chrysippus. He was not gentle. He was obsessive. He wrote hundreds of works, arguing, refining, defending, and restructuring Stoic philosophy. So much that people joked if Chrysippus hadn't written so much, Stoicism would have disappeared. He did not seek elegance. He sought precision. Because Chrysippus understood something crucial. If your philosophy collapses under scrutiny, it will collapse under life. Stoic principle: thought creates emotion. Chrysippus's most powerful insight is also the most uncomfortable. Emotions follow judgments. You are not angry because something happened. You are angry because you judged it as unfair, threatening, or insulting. You are not anxious because the future is uncertain. You are anxious because you judged uncertainty as unbearable. This changes everything. Because if emotions are judgments, they can be examined, challenged, and retrained. Stoicism is not emotional suppression. It is emotional literacy. Why this terrifies people? Most people don't want this responsibility because it removes excuses. If your suffering comes from judgment, then you can't blame fate. You can't blame others. You can't blame circumstances. Freedom comes with accountability. Chrysippus didn't soften this truth. He sharpened it. Chrysippus described the mind as a courtroom. Every perception enters as evidence, but you decide whether to accept it. A harsh word is spoken. A setback occurs. A fear appears. The Stoic asks, is this impression true? Is it useful? Does it deserve my assent? Most people never ask these questions. They sentence themselves instantly. Modern scenario. Anxiety spirals. Think of anxiety. An email arrives, your heart races, your thoughts spiral. Nothing has happened yet. Chrysippus would say, the emotion didn't come from the email. It came from the story you told yourself. What if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I'm exposed? Change the judgment and the emotion changes with it. Why logic is emotional armor. Modern culture treats logic as cold. Stoicism treats logic as protective. Logic prevents emotional hijacking. It gives you space between stimulus and response. Chrysippus believed a clear mind is not detached, it is resilient. Once emotions stop controlling you, action becomes calmer. You stop rushing, stop reacting, stop overcorrecting. You act deliberately today without fear-driven urgency. This is Stoic Carpe Diem, purpose without panic. Ask yourself what emotion has been controlling you lately and what judgment is feeding it. You don't need to eliminate the emotion. Just examine the thought beneath it. Chrysippus didn't promise peace. He built the tools to earn it. 2. Chrysippus, how thoughts train emotion. Chrysippus did not believe that emotions should be eliminated. He believed they should be educated. This is a critical distinction. The Stoics never aimed to become numb. They aimed to become clear. Chrysippus distinguished between first movements, involuntary reactions, full passions, judgments we agree with. A sudden noise startles you. That's human. But anger, panic, despair, those arrive after assent. This means you are not failing when you feel an emotion. You are only failing when you surrender authority to it. Why emotional control is a skill. Modern culture treats emotional regulation as personality. Stoicism treats it as training. Just like strength, emotional resilience improves through repetition. Chrysippus taught students to pause before reacting. Examine impressions, replace distorted judgments. This takes effort, but effort creates freedom. The danger of unexamined self-talk. Your mind is always talking. Most people never question it. They accept, this is unbearable. I can't handle this. This always happens to me. Chrysippus would call this mental negligence, not because it's immoral, but because it's dangerous. Unexamined self-talk programs suffering. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Anger flares. Chrysippus asks, what judgment just occurred? Probably they disrespected me. This is unacceptable. But those are interpretations, not facts. Change the judgment. They are distracted. This is minor. The emotion softens. Same event, different judgment, different life experience. Why most people stay emotionally trapped? Because emotional patterns feel familiar, and familiarity feels safe. Chrysippus knew that. Fear rehearsed becomes anxiety. Anger rehearsed becomes bitterness. Self-pity rehearsed becomes identity. Stoicism interrupts these loops. Cognitive reframing. Ancient style long before psychology named it. Chrysippus practiced cognitive reframing. He taught students to ask, "Is this under my control? Will this matter in 5 years?" What would a wise person think here? These questions don't erase pain. They prevent catastrophizing. Once emotions are trained, attention returns to action. You stop wasting energy on internal chaos. You do what is needed today calmly. This is Stoic productivity, not hustle, alignment. Ask yourself, what sentence do you repeat in your mind when you're stressed, and is it actually true? Write it down. Examine it. Chrysippus didn't silence emotions. He taught them to listen to reason. 3. Chrysippus' fate, freedom, and responsibility. At some point, every serious student of Stoicism hits a wall. If everything follows cause and effect, if the universe is ordered by fate, if events unfold according to nature, then what room is left for freedom? Chrysippus did not avoid this question. He walked directly into it. And what he built there is one of the most sophisticated models of human responsibility ever conceived. The big fear, if fate exists. Am I free? Most people hear fate and imagine helplessness, a script already written, a life already decided, choice reduced to illusion. Chrysippus rejected this completely. He argued that fate does not erase responsibility. It explains how responsibility works. Stoic determinism. Carefully understood. Chrysippus believed the universe is governed by logos, rational cause and effect. Nothing happens randomly. Everything has antecedents. But here is the key. Your character is one of those causes. You are not separate from the causal chain. You are part of it. Your choices matter precisely because they flow from who you are. The cylinder. Analogy. Chrysippus explained this with a famous image. Imagine a cylinder sitting on a slope. If you push it, it rolls. But why does it roll the way it does? Because of the external push, the internal shape of the cylinder. The push initiates movement. The shape determines behavior. Life provides the push. Character determines the response. That is freedom. Why this changes everything you may not control. What happens when it happens? Who causes it? But you do control. The kind of person who responds, and that person determines the outcome that follows. Chrysippus redefines freedom. Freedom is not escape from fate. Freedom is acting in harmony with reason. Modern scenario, blame and responsibility. When something goes wrong, people ask, who's to blame? Chrysippus asks, what kind of character responded? This shifts attention away from excuses and toward development. You stop asking why me and start asking, what do I need to train? Why this view is empowering. Not oppressive determinism scares people because they confuse it with passivity. But Chrysippus's Stoicism demands more responsibility, not less. You cannot blame randomness. You cannot hide behind fate. Your reactions reveal your preparation. This is where amor fati becomes rational, not sentimental. Loving fate does not mean liking events. It means recognizing that events are unavoidable. Responses are trainable. You stop resenting reality and start shaping yourself. Freedom as alignment. True freedom, to Chrysippus, was alignment between judgment and reason, between desire and possibility, between action and virtue. Misalignment creates suffering. Alignment creates calm. Ask yourself, when something goes wrong, do you focus more on what happened or on how you responded? That answer reveals where your freedom currently lives. Chrysippus didn't free you from cause and effect. He freed you within it. 4. Chrysippus' legacy, the mind that set you free. Chrysippus did not live an easy life. He lived a precise one. While others sought admiration, he sought accuracy because he knew that a distorted mind creates distorted lives. And 2,000 years later, his work still quietly shapes how we understand emotion, responsibility, and freedom. Chrysippus's death, a Stoic irony. According to tradition, Chrysippus died laughing. The story goes that he saw a donkey eating figs and joked that it should be given wine as well. The image amused him so much that he laughed himself to death, whether literal or symbolic. The story fits. A man who mastered reason did not die bitter, angry, or afraid. He died light, and that alone tells us something about his philosophy. Memento mori, clarity before the end. Chrysippus spent his life sharpening the mind. Why? Because at the end of life, there is no room for confusion. Fear thrives in vagueness. Anxiety feeds on uncertainty. A trained mind meets death and life without panic. This is memento mori at work, not dread of dying, but urgency to live with clarity now. Why Chrysippus matters today, more than ever. We live in the age of overthinking, endless analysis, relentless comparison, constant mental noise. People are exhausted not by events, but by interpretations. Chrysippus gives us the missing instruction manual. You are not your thoughts. You are the judge of them. This single idea can reduce suffering more than any external change. Modern scenario: overthinking and paralysis. You replay conversations. You imagine worst-case futures. You hesitate to act. Nothing is wrong with your intelligence. What's wrong is unchecked judgment. Chrysippus doesn't tell you to think less. He teaches you to think better, to replace. What if everything goes wrong with what is within my control right now? Action returns. Calm follows. The Stoic operating system, Chrysippus's version. If we distill Chrysippus into a daily system: 1. Notice the thought, memento mori, awareness. 2. Question its truth, wisdom. Choose deliberate action. Carpe diem. 4. Accept the outcome without resentment, amor fati. This is not theory. It is practice. Every day. Why Stoicism is emotional strength, not coldness. Chrysippus did not remove emotion. He removed emotional tyranny. You still feel sadness, you still feel joy, you still feel love, but you no longer let fear write the script. This is what inner freedom looks like. Sit with this question. What thought has been draining your energy, and have you ever actually proven it true? Clarity begins with examination. Tonight, don't try to fix your whole life. Just listen to your mind. Notice what it says when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're alone. You don't need to silence it. You need to train it. Chrysippus shows us that a disciplined mind becomes a peaceful home even in a chaotic world. If this episode gave you a new way to understand your thoughts, you're welcome to continue with us. In the next episode, we'll meet Aristo of Chios the Stoic, who challenged rules themselves, and explore what happens when principles replace instructions. No pressure, no rush. Just steady progress toward a stronger inner life. Until next time, Remember, your thoughts are powerful only when you agree with them. Episode 4, 1. Aristo of Chios. When rules disappear, character remains. Why principles matter more than instructions. Most people don't want wisdom. They want instructions. Tell me what to do. Tell me what not to do. Give me rules, steps, formulas, systems. Because rules feel safe. Rules remove responsibility. But one Stoic dared to ask a dangerous question. What happens when the rules disappear? What happens when life throws you into situations no philosophy book prepared you for? What happens when there's no checklist, only judgment? That Stoic was Aristo of Chios, and he believed something radical. If you need rules to be good, you haven't learned virtue yet. Biographical story. The rebel Stoic Aristo was a student of Zeno. He knew Stoicism from the inside, and that's what made his challenge so unsettling. Aristo didn't attack Stoicism from the outside like rival schools did. He questioned it from within. He agreed with Zeno on one thing completely: virtue is the only good. But from that agreement, he drew a conclusion most Stoics were uncomfortable with. If virtue alone matters, why obsess over everything else? The controversy against preferred indifference. Early Stoicism taught that things like wealth, health, reputation, status were neither good nor bad, but preferred indifference. You could prefer them, but they didn't define goodness. Aristo rejected this. He argued, the moment you rank indifference, you confuse the mind. You begin negotiating with virtue. You start asking, is this worth compromising for? And once you ask that question, clarity is gone. Stoic principle. Virtue requires no instructions. Aristo believed that a truly trained person does not need rules, just like a skilled musician doesn't need sheet music. A fluent speaker doesn't translate word by word. A virtuous person sees what is right. This idea terrified people because it removed the safety net. No scripts, no loopholes, no technicalities, only character. Why people cling to rules? Rules give comfort. They allow you to say, I followed the process. I obeyed the guideline. I did what I was told. Aristo saw the danger. Rules can be used to justify cowardice. They allow people to avoid moral responsibility by hiding behind procedure. Aristo wanted none of it. Modern scenario. Moral gray zones. Think of modern ethical dilemmas, corporate policies that hurt people, social norms that reward silence, systems that excuse harm as how things work. Rules don't save you here. Character does. Aristo forces a question most people avoid. What do you do when the rules are wrong? Why Aristo was dangerous. Aristo's ideas threatened structure. They demanded maturity. And most people prefer comfort to responsibility. This is why later Stoics distanced themselves from his extremism. But they never ignored him, because his question never goes away. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you hid behind rules instead of acting from conviction? That moment matters more than you think. Aristo didn't want obedient students. He wanted upright people. 2. Aristo, why rules fail under pressure. Aristo understood something uncomfortable about human behavior. Rules work best when life is easy, when situations are clean, when choices are obvious, when the cost of doing the right thing is low. But life is rarely like that. Under pressure, rules begin to crack. Stoic principle: rules create loopholes. Aristo believed rules invite negotiation. Once you rely on them, your mind shifts from what is right to what is allowed. And that shift is dangerous, because people become clever at justifying themselves. They follow the letter of the rule while violating the spirit of virtue. Aristo saw this everywhere in politics, in institutions, even in philosophy schools. Why rules attract the unprepared? Rules attract people who are unsure of themselves. They promise safety. Follow this and you'll be fine. Break this and you'll be wrong. But virtue is not binary. It requires perception. Aristo believed rules are useful only for beginners, like training wheels. If you never remove them, you never learn to balance. Moral intuition versus moral laziness. Aristo's critics accused him of encouraging chaos. He responded implicitly that most chaos comes from moral laziness, not intuition. Moral intuition is not impulse. It is trained perception. You see what matters because you've disciplined your values. Moral laziness avoids thinking. It waits for instructions. Modern scenario. Corporate ethics. Consider a company that follows every policy yet harms people through exploitation. No rule is broken, but justice is absent. Aristo would say, if your conscience needs permission, it is not conscience. Why this is terrifying. Aristo's Stoicism removes excuses, compliance as virtue, obedience as morality. You cannot say I was just following the rules. You must say I chose this. That level of responsibility scares people. Act now without guarantees. Choose rightly without scripts. Trust your trained character. This is not reckless. It is courageous. Ask yourself, if no rule protected you, what would your character choose? Aristo did not remove guidance. He demanded growth. 3. Aristo versus the Stoics. The cost of moral purity. Aristo did not just challenge rules, he challenged compromise. And this is where his Stoicism becomes dangerous, not to others, but to the one who lives it. Because moral purity sounds noble, living it is another matter. The central conflict: purity versus practicality. Aristo believed virtue was absolute, not relative, not situational, not negotiable. If something was not virtuous, it was irrelevant. If it did not improve character, it did not matter. Other Stoics, especially Chrysippus, disagreed. They accepted that while virtue alone defines goodness, practical distinctions still matter. Health matters. Resources matter. Social roles matter. Not because they make you good, but because they shape how you can act. Aristo rejected this nuance. To him, nuance diluted clarity. Why the other Stoics pushed back. Later Stoics worried Aristo's view demanded too much too fast. They feared it would paralyze decision-making, ignore human limitations, create rigidity instead of wisdom. They believed philosophy must guide people as they are, not as saints. Rules and distinctions, they argued, are scaffolding. You don't live in the scaffolding, but you need it while building. The hidden risk of moral absolutism. Aristo's purity contains a quiet risk. When you see only virtue and vice, you may overlook complexity. You may judge too quickly, dismiss context, become isolated. Absolute clarity can harden into inflexibility. This is why Aristo never led the Stoic school. His vision was too sharp for most people to live inside. We see Aristo's shadow today in cancel culture, moral grandstanding, online purity tests. People divide the world into good, evil right, wrong acceptable, unforgivable. And once someone crosses the line, they are erased. Aristo would agree with the clarity, but perhaps not with the cruelty. The difference between clarity and rigidity. True Stoic wisdom balances firm principles, flexible application. Aristo gave us the first without the second, and yet his warning remains valid. Rules can soften us into complacency. Purity, when tempered, keeps virtue sharp. Love fate even when it forces you to choose without guidance. Accept the burden of judgment. Do not ask for permission. Do not hide. This is Stoicism stripped bare. Ask yourself carefully, do you avoid hard choices by hiding behind nuance, or avoid nuance by hiding behind certainty? Wisdom lives between those extremes. Aristo reminds us clarity is powerful, but clarity without compassion becomes cold. 4. Aristo's legacy. Who are you without rules? Aristo of Chios did not leave behind a system. He left behind a mirror, and what that mirror shows is uncomfortable, because once the rules are gone, once the excuses are stripped away, once the procedures no longer protect you, there is only character left to speak. That was Aristo's point. Aristo's quiet disappearance. Aristo did not die in glory. He did not build a school. He did not leave a lineage of students. And yet his influence lingered not because he was successful, but because his question never stopped haunting Stoicism. What if virtue truly needs nothing else? What if most guidance is only for the untrained? The Stoics did not adopt Aristo's view fully, but they never dismissed it either. They kept him as a warning. At the end of life, rules don't matter, titles don't matter, policies don't matter. Only one thing remains: who you were when no one was watching. Aristo forces us to think about that moment now before it arrives. This is memento mori without comfort. No guarantees, no safety net. Just truth. Why Aristo matters in a world of systems. We live surrounded by systems. Algorithms decide what we see. Policies decide what is allowed. Procedures decide what is acceptable. And slowly, people forget how to decide for themselves. Aristo's Stoicism is a reminder systems cannot replace conscience. They can guide it, but they cannot become it. Modern scenario. Just doing my job. History is full of people who caused harm while following rules. I was just doing my job. I followed the protocol. I obeyed orders. Aristo would say, then you surrendered your humanity. Virtue does not outsource judgment. The Stoic operating system. Aristo's challenge. Aristo's operating system is stark. 1. Strip away rules. 2. Confront your values. 3. Act from character alone. 4. Accept full responsibility. This is not daily advice. It is a test, and not everyone passes. Where Aristo complements the other Stoics, Zeno teaches acceptance. Cleanthes teaches endurance. Chrysippus teaches clarity. Aristo teaches ownership. He asks, are you good because you follow rules or because you have become good? That question sharpens the entire Stoic tradition. Sit with this quietly. If every rule disappeared tomorrow, what kind of person would you become? That answer is your real philosophy. Tonight, don't try to live without rules. Just notice how often you lean on them. Notice when you say, I'm allowed to. instead of "I should." Aristo doesn't ask you to abandon structure. He asks you to outgrow dependency, and that growth is uncomfortable but necessary. If this episode challenged you, that's a good sign. Stoicism was never meant to be comfortable. In the next episode, we'll meet Cato the Younger, a man who refused to compromise even when compromise would have saved his life, and explore the price of integrity. No pressure, no performance. Just philosophy that asks something of you. Until next time, remember, rules can guide you, but only character can carry you. Take a slow breath with me. If you've stayed until this moment, it means something inside you recognizes what you just heard. Not as information, but as memory. As truth you already knew, but needed to be reminded of. The Stoics never asked to be admired. They didn't want followers repeating quotes or memorizing lines. What they wanted was simpler and harder. They wanted people who would practice, people who would wake up and ask, "What is in my control today?" People who would meet loss without bitterness, success without arrogance, and fate without resentment. These 19 figures were not perfect. Many failed. Some contradicted themselves. Some paid a terrible price for their principles. And that is precisely why they matter. Stoicism isn't about being flawless. It's about being faithful to reason, to virtue, to your better self, in a world that constantly pulls your attention outward. Stoicism gently pulls you back inward, back to what you can shape, back to who you are becoming, back to the quiet place where clarity lives. You don't need to adopt every archetype. You don't need to live like an emperor or suffer like a martyr. But maybe today, you borrow one thing: the steadiness of Marcus, the freedom of Epictetus, the courage of Cato, the discipline of Cleanthes, or simply the honesty to face your life as it is. Let this be a pause, a moment of stillness in your day. If this reflection helped you slow down even slightly, consider staying with this channel. Subscribing isn't about numbers here. It's about building a small space on the internet where calm, reason, and depth still matter. And before you go, reflect quietly on this question. Which Stoic archetype do you need most right now, and why? You don't have to answer out loud. Just carry it with you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And remember, the world will always test you, but with the right philosophy, you don't have to break. See you in the next part of this video series. Good night, sweet dreams.